I'm Tim Marcus from Milkman Sound.
And I'm Chris Benson from Benson Amps.
And we're very excited to bring you Benson the AMP. These amplifier pedals were born from my steel guitar models, which were had like a tube preamp, and I put it into a high power Class D power amp. And then around like 2016, 2017, I thought maybe it would be cool to make a pedal version of that that was more specific for guitar. And that's where the amp came out, the original white one.
Tim is a steel and Telecaster player, and the amps definitely reflect that. So I think what I associate with Tim's kind of building choices is he's a real player. So he's got a great ear for componentry and capacitors and the little tweaks that can push a Fender circuit over the top. And if you've ever played one, you've noticed something special about him, in my opinion.
I would say that the Benson stuff, and to my ear, how I always heard it was kind of like another type of amplifier you would play in the 60s, but it came from like a different like alternate universe than what my stuff came from, whereas my amps were always like very like Fender based, and I was always very like specific about that. Chris's stuff, I was not really able like to pinpoint exactly what it was. Like it was just kind of its own unique thing. I think it was like 2018 or 2019. I remember he sent me one of his germanium, no, it wasn't the germanium, it was the Benson preamp pedal that he'd just come out with. And I took that pedal and I hooked it up to one of the Class D amplifiers that I use in the amp pedals. And I was like, oh, this could be another amp pedal. This is great. Like his like front end like met with that kind of power amp was like totally different than what my stuff was doing, and it was great. And that's around the time that I started being like, oh, we should work on one of these together.
Tim initially approached me in 2019, and I was so busy at the time. I was just like, whatever, Tim. Like, we're not going to do that. We're making tons of tube amps, and everyone's buying tube amps. Last year was the second time he kind of reached out for it. And I had actually been developing an analog cab sim circuit that worked really well with my preamp pedal. And I was like, well, maybe this is something that would be really cool, like with this cab sim circuit and an actual tube preamp driving it. This could be a really cool direct solution that can also drive a cabinet. So that kind of pushed me over the edge, and I said yes, and then we started designing it.
It's like a marriage, you know. The first proposal didn't go the way I planned. Well, the idea behind putting the Benson amp project together, for me, it was always, I wanted something that like had the character of one of Chris's amps, that had the ability to like overdrive and saturate, and had his like different kind of EQ voicing, and have that be available in the compact form factor that my amp pedals were in. So the kind of player I think that would want to play with this would be somebody maybe who doesn't necessarily want a like clean sound to, I mean, this thing will do the clean sound, but you're also going to be able to get like a lot more of like a drive sound and a lot more of like a dirt sound, versus like trying to like push one of the other amp pedals with like boost pedals or whatever to get them to overdrive. Like this is designed to do that like within the preamp.
I try to get as much range out of things as I can, so you know, my Chimera amplifier, that was kind of my initial offering, can do cleans, and it can do the dirty clean thing, and it can roll all the way up to a fuzz, and I'd really tried to get my volume and EQ controls to do all sorts of different things. So let me show you the surface controls here. So this is the volume control. We've got treble and bass, and these three controls are literally the Chimera preamp, which is kind of our flagship kind of preamp. So the treble is a low-pass filter. It just rolls treble frequencies off in a nice musical way. And the bass control kind of does the same thing with the bass, except opposite, and it kind of will move the frequency point that the bass rolls off up and down. And they don't have ability to really boost, so you can't actually scoop the mid-range with this preamp, unlike Tim's version. We've got the reverb control. This is a digital reverb that Keeley came up with for us. And it's a spring reverb emulation. I think it sounds fantastic. It's one of the best ones I've heard. Got the room. This is actually a pretty unique function. So the thing that I always miss when I do direct recording or have a direct DI guitar is kind of the way the room interacts. Like there's always a little bit of, very fast slapback. And even if it's just a hint of it, it makes a very big difference. And I didn't want the DI to really lose that. So the room is essentially a very fast slap echo that you can kind of dial into taste to make your guitar kind of sound more alive in a DI situation. The boost here is an op-amp style boost that I spec'd out for this pedal specifically. That you can foot switch, and this turns it up or down, so it allows you to drive the front end of the amp. The output kind of acts as a master volume. So if you wanted to turn the volume all the way up and turn this down, you can get some good natural tube distortion out of this because it's overdriving the 12-8-7. And it also operates the output of the DI up here, and it operates the headphone output.
So basically, like the other amp pedals, this one has the universal power input. You know, anywhere you are on Earth, you can pretty much just plug this thing into the wall and it'll go. You don't need any special step-down transformers or anything like that. The output, it's got the same 4, 8, 16 speaker output that the other ones have. This one will do 200 watts into 4 ohms, 100 watts into 8 ohms, or 50 watts into 16 ohms. And it's got the combination speak-on 1/4-inch jack. It's got a balanced output. With the balanced output, you can turn on and off the cabinet simulation, which is, again, that's one of Chris's cabinet simulation circuits. It's a little different than the Milkman circuit. The pedal output is in case you want to just use it as like a drive pedal or like a preamp pedal. And then there's the input, which is a standard like 1 meg impedance guitar input, but will handle pretty much anything. A lot of customers always ask me if like they can plug a bass into it or a keyboard, and absolutely, like anything that has a 1/4-inch jack, you can plug it into one of these. And on the front panel, there's a headphone jack, which has the same cabinet simulation and room effect that comes out. And we use like a really high quality headphone amplifier that comes kind of from like the pro audio world and is very powerful.
So, you know, we agreed to do it, and I am a real pain in the ass. Can I say ass?
Yeah, it's YouTube, man.
I'm a real pain when it comes to sound stuff, so there was a lot of back and forth, and I had them doing mods up until a few weeks ago.
Like, but that's just like, you know, part of the thing, you know. Yep. If you liked it the first time, you're like, good, like sell it, like then you would. Then it wouldn't be this, you know?
I know for both of our brands, the sound is the most important thing, the sound and the customer experience, but mostly the sound is what I'm interested in, and I know that's true for Tim too. So we really had to get the sound right to put the name on it.
And the feel.
And the feel.
Because it has the real feeling, which for me is like 50% of it.
I think that this product emulates, you know, the real deal tube amps that I make very well. Like it doesn't. I would say it's 95% of the way there, and that's without power tubes. It's without the power supply. It's without all the magic stuff that is inherent in tube amps. And I really do feel like this is our strongest effort to capture kind of the Benson sound. So I think it'd be useful for people who already have a Benson amp and they want to do like a fly gig and they don't want to bring their Chimera or Benson head with them. They just throw this in a bag. I think it's useful for people who are recording at night. I think it's just going to be a great product that's going to allow kind of our sound of the amps to propagate a little bit and maybe give people a chance to experience a Benson amp without getting a giant, heavy, expensive thing in their house.